Hi everyone, it's Brendan and I'm about to do the Injective EVM Hello World version 0.4.5. So visit this repo and then scroll down to the README where you'll find an open in Gitpod button and just open that up. So the time now is 21:26. And so I've opened it in a new tab and I'm waiting for Gitpod to start up. All you need is a browser and a GitHub account and you're good to go. All right, so the repo is started up. I'm going to make the text a little bit bigger, right, so that we can see everything that's going on. And we've got a script here that says, prompts us. So I'm going to say new BIP39 seed phrase, just generate a new one, and then just an RPC URL. All right, there we go. So we've got a config file and a .env file. All right. Next, I'm going to do fund, right? Account lookup. All right, here we go. So let's see. So I've got the Explorer URL. So the instructions are to copy this. All right, that's on my clipboard now, and open up the faucet. So I'm going to do that and then press request tokens. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Continue after funding account. All right, I'm just going to proceed. All right, so this account is not yet funded. Please ensure that you've funded it before running O3 deploy. Okay, sure. I'll check again later. All right, what have we accomplished? Right, okay, so set up JSON RPC, set up a wallet, used the testnet faucet, and performed a balance check for the account. All right, let's see if it's done. All right, it has. Okay, so let's see. If I run this script again, and I do account lookup, right, and I just skip that since I've already done it. Oh, look, I've got a balance. Great. Okay, so I'm going to do O1 compile. All right, so this is the file I'm going to be compiling, this solidity file. And then now I'm going to run npx hardhat compile. All right. Okay, compilation complete. All right, so it's opened up this counter.json file where I've got the ABI, so that JSON, and I've also got the bytecode, right, which is EVM bytecode. Compile the outputs. Okay, cool. So I'm going to continue to run tests, right? So here are my test cases. All right, so it's already run the test. So the first test case is the constructor value, I guess, the initial value. Then it calls increment and checks that it's increased the first time, and it does an increment again and sees that and checks that it's increased again. All right, great. And then this is some gas analysis. All right, excellent. Okay, so now I'm going to do O3 deploy, right? So I'm going to check funds. So this account, which is based on my seed phrase, has got a balance. Okay, so I'm going to run the deploy script. That's via hardhat, and it's running the script over here. All right, so smart contract has been deployed. So now I'm loading the deployment data. So this is my smart contract. If I open that up in a tab, I'll go to the block scout, block explorer, and I can see that I have bytecode. All right, so yep, connected to Injective testnet, and then reinitialize the same wallet, sent a deployment transaction, and then inspected the result, right, in the block explorer. I'm going to do O4 verify now, and there we go. So this again loads the same deployment data file again, and then now it's going to call the etherscan type API, but on block scout. And let's wait for that to do its thing. All right, so verification is successful. I'll open up that tab for the block explorer, and now I've got a code, source code, and I've also got the API. Excellent. All right. So yeah, okay. So I've connected to block scout and then performed a forced verification. And the reason it was forced is because multiple contracts with the same address are likely to have been created because everyone is using the same repo. And so just wanted to do a full verification. And then we saw the source code and the API behind Block Explorer. That's great. All right, let's do 05 interact. Right, so this is the last step that actually does stuff. All right, let's proceed. So it's loaded up the smart contract address from the deployment data and the smart contract API. RPC connection, smart contract. All right, let's take a look at that. So essentially showing me the API. Okay, so that's what it's going to interact with. Let's query the smart contract. So the initial value is 0, and then I'm going to do a transaction. Let's see what the transaction is. All right, yeah, so it says counter.increment7, right, calling the increment function with a value of 7, and then I can see the result. So this is the transaction, and I can open that up in a new tab, and I can see what exactly has happened. So if I click view details, since I have the smart contract verified, I'm able to see decoded input data. So I can see the function name and the parameter and its value that was passed in. So increment was called with a value of 7, it's the only parameter, which matches what we see here. So that's great. All right, let's query the smart contract again, and I get a value of 7. The interaction is complete. All right, so that just summarizes everything that we've done. I want to run this step again. So let's see, just go through all of that. Okay, so now when we query, since it's not a freshly deployed smart contract, it has an existing state, it has already got a value of 7. And then now if I send a transaction and wait for that to get added to a block, then now if I query the smart contract again, I get a value of 14, which is what I expect. All right, excellent. So same result. So now I'll finally do 06 stats, and that will tell me how long it's taken me to complete this. All right, so setup took me half a minute essentially, and the steps took almost 5 minutes. So that's about 5.5 minutes. I'll add another minute for how long it took Gitpod to spin up roughly, and that's basically 6.5 minutes. And the time now is 21:34. So including all the wait time, that took me about 9 minutes. All right. So please give this a go. GitHub.com, Injective EVM Hello World INJ, and click on the Gitpod button and let me know how you go. Hope you try it out, and hoping to get some feedback. Thanks.